59.5 seconds long, over 50 years old. Stanford researchers tried to walk like it. One professor called it a slam dunk, the other wasn't so sure. A lake with no whales that recorded whales. Car ripped open in a swamp and 14-inch three-toed casts biologists called unclassifiable. 3 independent witnesses in the same unknown creature and nests that look like gorilla nests where no gorillas live. Olympic Peninsula gets 140 inches of rain a year. That's a public record detail that matters because wet ground holds prints and big feet make them. The Olympic project documented a site in the Hoh rainforest. It wasn't a single footprint, it was a series of them. 14-inch impressions led to woven structures of huckleberry branches. 7-foot screens, 8 to 10 feet across, the kind of nest primatologists see with gorillas, except no gorillas live in Washington. The team cast the prints. The results weren't claw marks. They were dermal ridges and anatomically correct for a large primate with a mid-tarsal break that most humans don't have. A pressure study at Boston University found the same mid-tarsal break pattern in 32 of 398 adults tested, about 8%, usually with flatter feet. That doesn't rule people out, it just makes them less likely to have made the prints. Dr. Jeff Muldrum was a professor of anatomy and anthropology at Idaho State University who examined them, and this guy spent 25 years debunking fake Bigfoot tracks. He examined the casts, and in his book Sasquatch, Legend Meets Science, he argued the thermal ridges suggested a non-human primate. Next are 2 machines that both said not a fish. First, the ears. In July 2002, bioacoustician Elizabeth von Muegenthaler picked up an echo in Lake Champlain that could not have been there. She taped it and saved it, and came back one chilly morning in June of 2003 with the Fauna Communications Research Institute. They were under contract to the Discovery Channel with military-grade hydrophones. She got high-pitched ticking and chirping higher than any known fish in the lake. If they had been at sea, it would have been familiar like dolphins or belugas, but there are no whales or dolphins in Lake Champlain. Second are the eyes. These are different machines from the same year. Dennis Hall, director of Champ Research out of Panton, Vermont, has been running sonar on this lake for 30 years. On one run, sonar detected an object that appeared long and relatively thin. It was a dense object that was 20 feet in length and 60 feet of water. He wasn't alone. In 1993, a Japanese team searched the entire lake with 15 boats and multiple helicopters. They came back with a sonar report of a very large object about 20 feet long having passed underneath them. WCAX has covered Champ for decades for a reason. On April 29, 1986, the Vermont legislature made it clear that if the legendary Lake Champlain creature known as Champ exists, it should be protected from harm. The resolution encouraged serious scientific inquiry into the existence of any unusual animal in Lake Champlain, especially the one commonly known as Champ. That's when a sighting stops being a story and becomes an instrumentation problem. A hydrophone built to hear fish saying not a fish, and a sonar built to find fish saying not a fish. Next case has no tracks, no photos, just 3 handwritten statements that haunted a police chief for 29 years. April 21st and 22nd, 1977, Dover, Massachusetts. 3 roads and 3 reports in 24 hours. Farm Street. 17-year-old William Bartlett is driving and says he sees something on top of a broken stone wall. It's about 4 feet tall with glowing orange eyes, no nose or mouth, and a watermelon-shaped head with tendril-like fingers. Same night, Miller Hill Road. 15-year-old John Baxter reports a similar creature in a heavily wooded area by a tree, gripping with its hands, large head, glowing eyes, and it flees into the woods. Next night, Springdale Avenue. 15-year-old Abby Brabham says she sees it sitting upright in the road. It's described as goat-sized with glowing eyes matching the earlier 2. Dover police take statements and the teens make sketches. Police tell the Associated Press it's probably a school vacation hoax. However, Chief Carl Sheridan logs Bartlett as an outstanding artist and reliable witness and says the report concerns him. On July 14, 1988, the Lee County Sheriff's Office investigated a report of a car damaged overnight while parked at a home in Browntown outside Bishopville on the edges of Scape or Swamp. The car had tooth marks and scratches with hair and muddy footprints left behind. Sheriff Liston Truesdale noted this was the start of claims that eventually coalesced into the Lizard Man story. Prompted by news of the vehicle damage, 17-year-old Christopher Davis reported his car was damaged 2 weeks prior by a creature he described as green green, wet-like, about 7 feet tall, and had 3 fingers, red eyes, skin like a lizard, and snake-like scales after getting a flat tire near Scape or swamp while driving home from a fast food night shift. The attack was later logged as deep scratches on the roof and the side mirror was twisted nearly off. The original story ran in more than 100 newspapers across the country. By August 14th, it was on the CBS Evening News. More than 200 calls a day came in from as far away as New Zealand and Germany. October 20th, 1967, Bluff Creek, California. Tributary of the Klamath River, about 25 logging road miles northwest of Orleans, Del Norte County, Six Rivers National Forest. Roger Patterson and Bob Gimlin. 16mm film, 23.85 feet long, 954 frames, 59.5 seconds at 16 frames per second. The subject, they said, was Bigfoot walks away, looks back, frame 352. Anthropologist Dr. Grover Krantz sees stills on the February 1968 cover of Argosy and says it looks like a guy in a gorilla suit and gives Sasquatch a 10% chance of existence. Then he watches the full film and changes his mind. He says the strides and arm movements are not easily mimicable by human and could not be sustained for more than a few steps. Dr. Jeff Meldrum studies bipedalism and brings in Jessica Rose and James Gamble. They run the motioning gait analysis at Stanford. They wrote the textbook on human walking, literally titled Human Walking. They try to replicate Patty's compliant gait. Rose calls one aspect a slam dunk. Gamble is less sure. Meldrum says some aspects hold up. No one says easy hoax. Dr. Jeff Meldrum's biomechanical analysis shows a compliant gait with bent knees like non-human great apes. Then there's the muscle. In 2012, M.K. Davis stabilized the film. Frame 352 shows calf muscle flexation and toes gripping dirt. Then there's the suit test. Bill Munns, a Hollywood creature effects artist, tried to recreate it in 2009 with modern materials and he failed. The shoulder width and joint locations don't match human suits from 1967, at least according to him. Anthropologist Dr. Grover Krantz wrote in his book Big Footprints, if it's a man in a suit, it's the best suit ever made. It's been over 50 years with thousands of debunk attempts but zero recreations. That's not folklore, that's a forensic mystery. So here are the questions I'm going to leave you with. If this isn't Bigfoot, then what exactly are we looking at? If science can't answer that in over 50 years, what else is in the unknown file? I'm not asking you to believe in monsters. I'm showing you 5 cryptid encounters where scientists had to say, I don't believe this either, but here's the data. So vote in the comments. Which case has the best paper trail? I'll pin the best breakdown. Thanks for watching.